Many things in life can make us give in to anger, whether it's a relationship gone bad, cross words between friends, or frustration with our children or spouse. But lingering anger usually hurts the one feeling it more than anyone else. So how do you overcome your anger and use it positively in your life? Well, in Every Woman's Guide to Managing Your Anger, Dr. Greg Jantz will help you face your anger issues, move beyond them, and live the life you were meant to live. And thank you so much for coming.
Oh, yes, yes.
Well, you know what? It's so funny because, you know,
she's ready for this one.
Yeah.
all the guys are seeing this book and going, oh, boy. And all the women are like,
Husbands, we have something for you on today's Harvest.
but you know what? I saw the book and I thought, wow,
Yeah.
you know, it's hard to admit it, but a lot of truth in there, a lot of truth in there. So first of all, tell us why you decided to even kind of tackle this kind of topic.
Okay. It's interesting. This is my 25th book. And I have been working, and our center's been working with women for 26 years, I guess. And one of the things that keeps coming up is this issue of and I had to be a little bit brave stepping out and doing this title.
Brave.
Okay, a lot brave. Because I think, doing a book on angry women, and it's me doing it?
Yeah.
So, okay. But interchange the word hurt for anger. And you think about, I mean, I'm just going to be bold here. I think there's too many hurt and angry women who don't know what to do with it.
Right.
And then we end up seeing them because they have depression, eating disorders, or other issues. And so anger is a universal issue for both men and women. And maybe men will be my next topic.
Right.
So,
But women definitely handle anger much differently.
well, typically they do. We think of men sometimes exploding with anger. And now there's women who are rageaholics too. Okay. But women a lot of times implode, or I call it, they tunnel their anger into something different. They're hurt, they're injured, and it's not okay to show anger. And so they will become a perfectionist. They will develop a secret life with food. They'll develop a prescription drug addiction. But that anger is going to go somewhere.
Wow.
And become something.
And become something else.
Now, you help a lot of women that have eating disorders. That's one of the, you know,
It's one of the things
one
we
of the
do.
things
Sure.
out of the many things
Yeah.
that you do. So do you find that many women that do deal with those issues, is it a root of anger?
Yes, it is a deep-seated hurt, and that hurt has entered into their life. They haven't known what to do with it. I think of an example. A gal said, my father told me I was a chubby little baby or toddler, and I will always be chubby. That seed caused her to feel whatever the motive was for saying that. We can't read that, but we're just saying her perception of that was she's not good enough. And her whole life, she becomes perfect, trying to be perfect, and realizes she can't. And that deep-seated hurt and anger. So that's just a quick example of how this can work.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Jantz, it's Every Woman's Guide to Managing your anger. So is there a proper way to manage, and are there ways that women specifically, and I'd like to talk about men too, but you know, mishandle or mismanage their anger?
Well, I think one of the things we need to be careful of, a woman can take anger and she can become embittered. Now, men's a whole other topic. We're just going to talk about women right now. Maybe that'll be next time. But they become embittered, and that poison goes into all their relationships. But here's the tricky thing about it. They don't realize that's what's happened. They don't realize that they've become sarcastic and embittered, and it's subtle, it's sneaky. And I think in some ways the enemy can get a seed of anger in our life through offenses. And you develop these offenses and layers of offenses. You become hypersensitive. You wear glasses that distort reality because they're glasses of hurt and anger. You misread people. You're hypersensitive. And you don't really realize what's happened to you.
Let me follow up, if I may. Kelly, don't get angry. So in that kind of scenario, in that kind of... can people on the outside, maybe friends, close friends, family members who may see these kind of changes, is there a way to
let me step out on a little bit. A lot of times we don't realize it's hurt and anger that's been buried. We don't realize that's what it is. Because remember, it's coming out as depression. It's coming out as something different than what it originally was.
Or,
yeah,
negativity.
There are people that develop a lot of sarcasm. You know what? That's a sign of injury in their life. Or overuse of sarcasm. So here's what we've got to really be aware of. You can say, well, you're an angry woman and you need to get help.
That's not going to work.
You'll get that plate. It's on the book cover.
Yeah, and boy, Kelly, that would just inflame things, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
But to really have some empathy and say, you know, I really care deeply about you. Seems like there's some things that are hurt there. I mean, that's how to approach this. I had a husband once tell me, well, it's a little hard to hug a porcupine. Well, yeah, because sometimes if you're the spouse, you may feel like you're the target of all the hurt. And you may well be the target, but not necessarily the complete source.
Right.
The biggest thing we've got to come to realization is this is affecting me. I do not like living this way. I'm not happy. And we've got to be big enough to look in the mirror and have a conversation with ourselves.
Right. Now, before we find out how to kind of get a hold of it, is there such a thing as healthy anger? Because in the Bible we see Jesus was angry too, right? So is there a point where it's okay?
Oh, yes. And, you know, anger can be very, if you've been a victim of abuse, emotional abuse, any form of abuse, injustice, you've seen things that are not right, you've been mistreated unfairly, I think anger would be an appropriate response. To deny the reality that you were mistreated is no, but what you do with it is so important. If you take that anger and turn it into offense, bury it deep inside you, you have a responsibility for what you do with that anger.
Right.